Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
Kevin's a good friend of the show, and he hooked me up with a story here from the Department of Justice, U.S. Attorney's Office, out of New Jersey, and this is a scary concept. Former telecommunications company manager admits role in SIM swapping scheme. Many people will know this, some will not. I'm pointing this out for the people who don't know this. But dual-factor authentication is something that's out there that you should be using for important accounts of yours on the internet. What that means is you've got a password, okay? So you set something up and it goes, pick a password, and you pick a password. And if that's all you do, if you ever try to log in and you forgot your password, which happens to all of us, you got to say, forgot my password. And so then they'll either send you a hint or maybe even send you a thing on how to reset your password. But dual-factor authentication says that along with that, they will send a notification someplace you ask them to, such as a cell phone. And they can send a PIN, for instance, through text to your cell phone. And so you might go, wow, that's bulletproof. That right there, my friends, is ironclad, because how could somebody hack into my account by pretending that they're me unless they have my cell phone? Well, a SIM swapping scheme would do it. So a former manager of a telecommunications company from Burlington County, New Jersey, admitted swapping the subscriber identity module, or the SIM, numbers of cell phone customers into mobile devices controlled by another individual who was paying the former manager for the unauthorized swaps. And that's from the Attorney General's office and an attorney for the U.S. Department of Justice in a press release that came out a couple days ago. The man who's been now convicted is 42 years old. He's from New Jersey. He pleaded guilty before a chief U.S. district judge in Camden Federal Court on March 12th. And there's information charging him with conspiracy to gain unauthorized access to a protected computer. And information, like an indictment, describes the crime. And with that in front of him, he decided not to go to trial, but decided to plead guilty to it. So, according to documents filed in the case and statements made in court, back in May of 21, he was employed as a manager at a telecommunications store and accessed several customers' accounts by using managerial credentials. He swapped the SIMs associated with the customer phone numbers into mobile devices controlled by another individual, enabling that individual to then gain control of customers' phones and access the customer's electronics accounts, including email, social media, and cryptocurrency accounts. In exchange for the swaps, the man was paid in Bitcoin, which was traced back to his cryptocurrency account. And by the way, I know there's people out there who are evangelists for crypto. I keep hearing about people who get caught and they track down the crypto. So the conspiracy to gain unauthorized access to a computer carries a statutory maximum of 5 years in prison and a fine of not more than $250,000, or twice the pecuniary gain to the defendant, or twice the gross loss involved, whichever is greater. Sentencing is scheduled for July. Now, here's the thing. If they don't know whether anybody got harmed by this or how much they got harmed, well, there you go. But if they do, like let's suppose that he managed to hack into somebody's account and steal all their Bitcoin. Well, that could get quite expensive. Attorney for the U.S. credited special agents of the FBI under the direction of special agent in charge with the investigation leading to the guilty plea. The government is, of course, represented by a U.S. attorney from the U.S. Attorney's Cyber Crime Unit. So many of you right now are asking the question that I asked myself last night rhetorically. Boy, I'd like to know what company that guy worked for. Wouldn't you? Well, you read the information filed by the government, it doesn't say. And that's the sad part. And I don't know if they thought, well, this is a one-off. There's no need to embarrass the phone company. The phone company probably cooperated with them in an attempt to root out this guy. But I read the information that was filed, because that is a public document, and it describes the action, and it starts off with allegations, and it says, defendant, and it gives his name, was a resident of New Jersey and was employed by Company One as a manager at a location in New Jersey. Then it says Company One was a telecommunications company with offices in New Jersey. And then it says, as a manager at Company One, the man had access. And so it gives his name. but it does not give the name of the company. It's identified by a pseudonym, and it puts it in quotes and says Company One. And now they do that lots of times in pleadings like this to protect innocent people. But I think that it's one of those things where it would have made sense to let us know. Now, it might be that they figured out exactly how many times you did it, and they've accounted for all of those people and spoken to all of them, and maybe there's no reason for other people to know other than curiosity. But I don't know. I think I have the right to know if this was the company that I use. But getting back to the real problem here is that anytime you think you've got something that's foolproof, there's going to be a way around it. And here's what one person did that got around that. And they simply found somebody who worked at a store that had access to managerial credentials and said, hey, how much would you want me to pay you if you were to give me a SIM card for somebody who I can identify as a customer of your employer? And I believe the indication I saw someplace was that he was making $1,000 per swap. And I'm not sure where I got that from, but that is vaguely in the back of my mind because I read several articles on this, and I don't see it mentioned here. But somebody who's working in a cell phone store, if they're offered $1,000 to do this, might go, oh, okay, sure, $1,000. You know, that's good, quick, easy money. But of course, when it gets tracked back to you and you're facing federal offenses, and it probably isn't good for your job. There's a very good chance, I suspect, that, I don't know, that might go into your personnel file. It might go on your permanent record. And so I'm reminded of how often, and about once every 2 or 3 months, I have a Facebook page. I got 4,600 close friends on Facebook, 4,400, something like that, over 4,000. And I'll get a note from somebody who goes, hey, I got a problem. I've been locked out of my account. And Facebook says that I need someone on Facebook to help me. Can you help me? And my first thought is, if you've been locked out of your account, how are you talking to me? So it's a scam. And so what that person will do, if you say yes, is they will try to log into your account. And they'll log in badly 3 times, or whatever it is. And then when Facebook asks them, did you forget your password? They'll say yes. And when they say yes, it'll say, what would you like us to do? They'll say, text it to me. And while the person's talking to you through Messenger, even though they no longer have an account somehow, they'll say, I just had Facebook text you my PIN. Can you please forward that to me? And if you send that PIN to that person, they can then take over your account, lock you out of it, and then you've got to contact Facebook, good luck with that, and get them to understand what happened to you and hope that not too much damage has been done to your account in the meantime. And that's simply on Facebook. There are other accounts out there, I don't know, with banks, for instance, that might be much more important. And by the time you get straightened out, your account might be zeroed out. Now, you might get the money back, you might, but if you ever get a PIN texted to you or messaged to you one way or another, you will see that it always comes with the warning, do not share this with anyone. And so now I understand that somebody who doesn't understand what I just explained might go, oh, well, this isn't mine. This belongs to the person who contacted me through Facebook, even though they don't have an account anymore. And it's theirs. Obviously, I can share it with them. It's theirs. No, it's not. And so the weird part is that I would have never imagined that that would work, that you could contact somebody on Facebook and say, I'm locked out of my account, despite the fact I just contacted you, and I'm going to have them send you my PIN. Can you do that for me? And apparently people fall for that. So the other thing, and again, I'm preaching to the choir, 99% of you know this, but one of the other weird things that happens out there is you'll be on Facebook and you get a friend request from somebody you recognize. Okay, and you accept the friend request. And a little while later, they ask you something really weird and stupid that friend of yours wouldn't ask you. And so if you go and pull up your friend list and punch in their name, you'll see there's 2 friends by the exact same name with the exact same icon, logo, thumbnail. And when you go to look at both of them, one of them will be on Facebook since 2012, and one of them has been on Facebook since yesterday. And so what people do is they go onto Facebook, they find an account that's open to the public, they steal the thumbnail, find out what the person's name is, get some basic information, they open up another account, Facebook does nothing to stop it, and next thing you know, they're friend requesting everybody in that person's friend list, which is one reason that you should make your friend list private. But I've gotten a lot of these friend requests. I got one of them yesterday from a very good friend of mine. And it, picture, friend request, and I went and looked, and I'm already friends with the guy. I just sent him a note and I said, hey, there's someone out right now pretending to be you. And he goes, thanks, but I've already been told that by like 30 other people. And so it's just what it is. It's an annoying facet of Facebook, but that's what's going on. But the thing with the PIN is, and I used to do this a lot more than I do now, but I do believe there are going to be some people, not necessarily in my audience, but related to people in my audience. And we know all these people who came to the internet kind of late, and they came to Facebook really late. And they're the ones who are right now, this morning, cutting and pasting the thing that says, this was announced on television just yesterday, that unless you cut and paste this onto your profile page, Facebook will then own all your photographs. Unless you paste this, and it's true, by the way, it's true. And the people who do that probably don't understand the inner workings of the internet and the tubes and the wires and all that stuff. So you might want to sit down and talk to these people and tell them things like, for instance, if the FBI calls you, it's not the FBI. The IRS calls you, it's not the IRS. And when somebody messages you through Facebook and says, hey, I'm locked out of my account, can you help me get back in? You have to go, oh, I'm sorry, I can't help you. And part of that is, of course, that there is a generation of people whose knee-jerk response is when asked for help to give it. And you have to explain to them that, okay, understand that there's bad people out there who will take advantage of you today because you want to help somebody. But I've digressed quite a bit from the original story, and that is that despite the fact that people had dual-factor authentication in place that was tied to their cell phone, there was somebody in New Jersey working for that cell phone company, SIM swapping bad people, or at least a bad person, in such a way that allowed them to hack into 4 or 5 other people's accounts. And those people are all like, wait, but I never, how'd that's how it happened. And so it's always possible. Got to stay ever vigilant, as they say. Former telecommunications company manager admits role in SIM swapping scheme, could go to prison for quite some time, but we don't know what company he worked for. Kevin, thanks for sending it. Questions or comments, put them below. Otherwise, talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts.